Alrighty, we are back, and we're going to finish this wing, and should be able to get this completed today, in this episode anyway. We're going to make the wingtip, and we'll go ahead and create the center sheeting here, and we'll make the wing joiner here in the middle, and then once we get all that done, we'll just create a mirror of this component and have both wings. So let's do this this wingtip first. And when I was first building RC planes, I remember I built the Gentle Lady, and it had a really neat way to create the wingtip, and that's what we're going to do today. So this top spar is kind of at the thickest section of the wing, and I'm going to create an offset plane on the face of that spar. And I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to come in here and create my wingtip sketch on here. Now, what the Gentle Lady did, and there were several other models back in the day, would use the same technique to create, nice wingtips. They're solid, they're durable, so, if you hit the wingtip, it's pretty strong. But this is just going to be one way that wingtips are made. So we're going to create a sketch here. And what I want to do, I want to project, or I want to, let's project. I want to project this point right there. I want to project this point right there. Okay, and I'm going to go over here to look at, and that's going to take us to the front here. All right, I'm going to draw a line out here, and I want it to be 45 degrees. Now, if you noticed, I came up here and I touched that point, and you can see that it'll let you know that you're in line with that point, but that's really not quite where I want it. I kind of want it to be parallel with that. So let's just put, let's make this a little long, and then I'm going to go 45 degrees. We're going to lock that in right there, and then I'm going to create another line off of here, and I'm just going to put it anywhere. And what I want to do is I want to make this line collinear with that. So there, now you see we have this right triangle. It sticks out a little far, but that should work. Okay. So let's trim off here what we don't need, and that should work. So I don't know what size boss of this would be made out of, but we can measure it. If we go up here to measure, we can click on that line, and it will tell us that is 1.275 inches down here, which is pretty big. There's not a lot of triangular boss of that size, but let's just say there is. And I'm going to come in here. Let me go back and edit that sketch. I also need to be drawing this sketch in the wing. Oh, I blundered. All right. Let's come in here. This sketch 3. We're going to edit this sketch. That's okay. We're going to make the body in the. There we go. We're going to make the body in the wing, which is where it needs to be. So I'm going to extrude this, and I'm going to extrude it 2 sides, and I just want this to go to here, and I want that to go back there, and that looks pretty good. We don't want to join, we want to create a new body. Yeah, that's exactly what we want, and I'm going to click OK. And I remember the first time I carved a wingtip like this, I was amazed at how it worked out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I have my trusty old X-Acto knife, which was all I had back then. And I'm going to create a sketch there. And what I want to do, I want to project this line, that line, this line, that line, and that line, and this line as well. So everywhere that this wing intersects with this block. Alright, so I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab this. Well, let's finish our sketch real quick. And I'm just going to extrude that out that way. And that's going to work pretty good for our purposes. And you can get you know, a little more detailed here, however you want to get. But there you have it. There is a solid Bosso wingtip, just like we used to do way back in the day. And like when I was a kid, I was amazed that this shape was the airfoil shape. It was replicated in that right triangle. So there you have that. Now let's come down here and create the center sheeting. And the center sheeting runs from the spar to the trailing edge, and then from the leading edge to the spar. And the quickest way to do this, I am going to, well, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch here. And what I want to do is I want to create an offset. Let's turn the chaining off. We don't really want that. From here, we're going to go negative 0.0625 or whatever your thickness of your sheeting is. In this instance, we're going to make it 1/16 of an inch. For those of you in other parts of the world, actually the rest of the world, it would be roughly 1.5 millimeters. Okay, we're going to do that. And let's repeat this down here. And let's go negative 0.0625 there. And we're going to repeat that again. And negative 0.0625. Okay, so now what I want to do, we need to make sure that this is connected and this is connected to this leading edge, and the same thing back here. You see where we're a little short, and we want to make sure all that's connected. I'm going to go ahead and project this line in here and all these lines as well, and yeah, that should all be that. Now let's come up here to modify, extend. I want to extend that line to there. Let's extend that. I hope that's catching, and we can verify that. Yeah, you can see this part turns blue by itself. That's what we want. And this part needs to be extended up here. Yeah, there we go. That part needs to be trimmed right there. And let's check down here. Let's extend that. Extend there. Extend that. Yeah, if it gives you a long red line, and that's usually a pretty good indication that that you have it. So that turned blue. That's what we want. This is turning blue by itself. That's what we want. And let's make sure this is not connected. That's good. And it looks like that's working. Yeah, that's working. Okay. So I'm going to finish that sketch. I don't know where it just went. Oh, turn the sketches on. There we go. Okay, so now we have that sketch. And let's do the same thing on this rib. I'm going to do it on the other side of the rib here. Over here on this side. And we're going to create sketch. I'm going to hit slice so we get rid of everything that we don't need to see. And let's do that offset again. And like I said, there's more than one way to do this, and in subsequent videos I will probably show other ways that this can be done. This is just the one method I'm doing here. And I hope everybody's getting something out of all the videos I've done so far. I'm going to try to get a little more regular. It's a little difficult because I got so many things going on, but I'm going to try to make one every Monday evening, so I'm getting one a week out there for you guys. All right, let's project all this. There we go. And that should be that. Hit OK. Now we're going to do our extend thing like we did before. That one's going all the way. That one's short. That one's long. That one's long. We need to trim those back. But while we have this tool, let's do that. Get the trim tool. Come in here and trim that. And I think we might have it. Let's double check. That turns blue. That turns blue. That turns blue. Yeah. And what we're looking for is when it turns blue by itself, that means we have an enclosed area. And that's what we want to do. So now we have these two sketches, and I'm going to turn off these bodies that primarily that one and this one. And let's turn off the leading edge, trailing edge, and is that our top spar right there? I'm going to go ahead and relabel this and turn it off. And let's see our bottom spar. Okay, so this is one easy way to do this. I'm going to come in here and I am going to create a loft from this shape to that shape. Okay, and that's the thickness of the material that we want. And you notice because it followed our sketch, it's going to be flush with our spar and it's going to be flush with our leading edge right there. So it didn't like that. All right, let's try that again, and if it doesn't work, we're going to try another method. So we want to go from here to here, and I think that's good. It liked it that time. And it may have been the sequence that I selected the things, I don't know. And there could be some junk floating around because this is not fully defined. And again, I can't, you know, when you're really wanting to make a drawing that you're going to work on cutting, make sure and fully define your sketches. Now this one really got messed up. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, sometimes self-intersecting geometry. So, all right, let's go to method 2. And we're going to go to surface. And we'll create a loft here in surface. And we want that. And that. And that's going to create our surface, right? And we can come in here and we're going to thicken this surface now to 1/16. So let's go to thicken. We're going to select that. We're going to go negative 0.0625. And then that's going to give us our sheeting. Okay, so let's go back to solid and see if we can get these bottom ones to work this first method. Let's turn the bottom spar off. We don't need that. And there we go. That actually looks like it's going to work. All right. And let's come back in here, create another loft. And we're going to do the same thing. Okay, and we want to go to there and select OK. Okay, we can turn these sketches off now. We do not need them. And you can see here's our sheeting and what we're going to do with that. So one of the things you may notice when we created the thicken, it gave this a different angle here. See how it's going this way? Because the thicken's going to run perpendicular to the to the surface that you're thickening. So you're going to have this edge when actually this bottom should be longer. And we're going to fix that. I'm going to come up here into press pull, and you can also hit Q on the keyboard. All right, and get this moving around the place that I want. And I'm going to select that surface and just lengthen that a bit. It's fine. We're going to run it wild. That's what my brother used to say in the construction business. We'd be building things. He goes, run it wild, we'll cut it off later. All right, so I'm going to turn the trailing edge on. Now you can see this overlaps, which is what we want to do. So I'm going to hit combine. This is my target body, and we want to change the operation to cut, and I want to keep the tools, and we're going to cut there, and there you have this really odd piece because it's a little bit taller, but that's okay. I'll show you another way we could have done that. Let's just undo that. So we took our combine away. Let's turn this trailing edge off. Now we have this length. I am going to, let's see if we can split this body, and I'm going to try to select this face, and it works. It's going to go up there. We want to extend splitting tool, cut that. Now we can get rid of this body, and there we have it. So that's going to work. We can put our trailing edge back on, and everything should line up properly. Okay, now let's it looks like the front one did okay because we did that one with the in solid environment. So we want to turn on these ribs that we had here. Well, let's just do this one. So we're going to go to combine. This rib is our target body. We want cut. We want to keep our tools. And we should be able to select all our cutting tools here. There we go. And it should trim it down. So now if we come in here and we turn these off, you can see that it's now thinner than the others. So let's do the same thing with our center rib, which is that one there. Let's go to combine. We're going to select our target body. We want the operation to cut. Now we're going to select our bodies that we're going to use to cut. And I want to make sure that that it cuts all the way through there. It looks like it didn't cut all the way through there. So this is not coming all the way out, and we need it to. So I'm going to hide this for a second. And we're going to go here to press pull or Q, and we're going to extend this face. And this tiny, can I select that as well? Yes. And I just want to bring it out a little bit. I got a pinwheel here. Not the best of things. There we go. All right. That's good. So now let's go back in here, and I'm driving this machine batty. Yeah, someone had asked me what machine I would that I would recommend, and you definitely want to get, if you want to go all out, get at least an i7 quad core with as many threads as possible. All right, we're going to go combine, and we want cut. This is what we want to cut it with. We click OK, and that should get us where we want to be. Nope, we want to turn body 8 off. Yeah, now let's turn this off. I guess we got this little sliver of stuff left over. We can remove that. So let's turn body 8 on, turn our sheeting back on. We can turn our spars back on. And there you have it. So let's go home, and then you can see this is still a little long. We can fix that. But again, back to machines. Yeah, at i7, as much horsepower as you can get, at least 8 gig of RAM, and if you can get more the merrier. And especially if you're using your integrated graphics, you'll need to use that, you know, get as much there as you can. Remove. In fact, I'm actually in the market for getting a new machine primarily for Fusion. Okay, so enough of that. We have our wing completed. If you like, I think there's some ailerons on here. Let's go and look at that. Let's turn our canvas on. And on this airplane, the ailerons are pretty simple. I think they're just cut out of this back trailing edge piece. Let's see. Yeah. So the wingtip is not part of it, so it just goes all the way out there, and all you're going to do is just like on this one, I would just sketch on this bottom surface, and that's not what I wanted. It's sometimes, yeah, see, that plane is not flat, exactly flat, so that's okay. We'll create it. I guess we can create it here. There we go. And I'm not measuring anything here. I'm just going to show a down and dirty way to draw these ailerons. And let's go here. We're going to come in here. Let's say our ailerons are going to start right here. And let's see if we can double this line. Let's project this line. And let's do an offset of this line. And let's go negative 0.25. Let's extend this to there, and that should do it. And I'm going to create a double line here, and I'm going to make it 1/32. And then let's do the same thing for this line. Let's get rid of this relationship, this offset relationship, so we can create another offset right here. And I'm going to go negative 1/32. I don't know where that went. That was 132. That's way on out there. (1/32). There we go. Okay, so now we're going to separate these, and what I'm going to do to separate them, let's finish this sketch. I'm actually going to, it won't do that. All right, let's just create a split body. We want to split this. We want to split it with this tool and this tool. We kind of don't want it to go all the way. We can glue that back together. We can go in and edit the sketch, but one of the things it's not going to like is this little place where it crosses over. So let's cancel that, and let's go in and edit our sketch. We're going to make it a lot cleaner. Let's trim this, this. Let's see here. We need that line there, and let's trim that and that. And that should work. Let's make sure we're good here. One thing we could do, nah, I'm not going to do that. Let's finish the sketch. Now let's go split split body. Let's grab that and let's cut that. So now you have your aileron part and your trailing edge part if you cut it out like that. And if you want to go in there and put that gap in, you can do that. We would just split the body again, and I would select this tool. I would split that. Then I'd come back and split this body with this tool, and that will give you this body to remove. And there's your gap. And then you want to join these two together. Go to join, modify or combine, join, and we don't want to keep the tools. We just want to join those pieces together so they're one piece. And there you have your ailerons. Okay, so let's now look at the wing joiner. Now, for me, the wing joiners, I like to do those as their own component, and because what happens is it'll be on one component or the other, and when you mirror, like if I create this joiner here and I make it symmetrical, and then if I mirror this, then you get all these things overlapping in the middle, and we don't want that. We want that to be one piece, and I'm going to create this wing joiner as a subcomponent of the wing. So I'm going to go new component, and component 6 instead, we're going to name it wing joiner. And got a big fat O there. Okay. So now we have our wing joiner highlighted. That's where we're working. And what I like to do, I'm going to create an offset plane on the front of this. Now sometimes you can draw directly on this face, but I've always found it where I have better results when I do a separate plane. I don't know why, but every now and then it just has a little bit of problem. Okay, so let's just say, for example, like this is kind of short, and then maybe it goes out to here. But that, I find that to be bad engineering. It leaves a stress point there. So really, the joiner should probably go out this far and meet with this rib. So it's got all this for strength, and then it doesn't have a break joint right here because the rib is supporting the spar there. Yeah, if you end things in the middle of any type of, you make that joint where it ends in the middle, that's really not good engineering. And all right, so we're going to create a sketch, and these are pretty simple. I'm going to create a sketch on this plane. I'm going to hit slice, and what I want to do, I basically want to draw my line. We're going to have to project some of this stuff, so let's project that point. Let's project this elusive point. Oh, I thought I had it. Oh, there we go. We're going to select that point. We're going to come down here, select this point, and we're going to select that point. So now we can draw our lines here, and let's go from here to here, and let's go from here to here. And then let's go from here to here. All right. I guess we didn't actually have to do that. Let's change this line to a construction line. Okay. And we're gonna mirror this so it's on both sides. Okay. So let's go get the mirror tool, and we want to mirror this line, this line, this line. And we want to mirror at that point. I had that selected, which was not right. So let's select this line. It should only be selecting 3 lines. So it'll give you a number up there, and we want it to go there. So there's our wing joiner. Okay, that's the sketch of it. And it's going to come forward, and you would make the back one the same way. If the height of the rib is the same on both sides, which it should be, then you can just mirror this back there too. So let's finish this sketch, and then I am going to extrude this, and let's say they are 1/16 inch joiners. Now what's going to happen is it's going to cut into our sheeting right here, and that's fine. We can do that, and we'll use the modify tool again to fix that. So there's that. Now let's go up here to combine, the combine tool, and we want this to be our target body. We want to cut, and we want to keep our tools. We're going to cut with that. We're going to say OK. So now this ends right there, and we're going to have to do that to the bottom piece of sheeting as well. And all the same operations. Cut. Now also these ribs are going to have to be cut as well. And when I re-engineer kits or redesign them to make them easier to build, I will often put tabs on the ribs that notch into the center spar. And you don't want a big hole, because you want to keep your strength on the top and the bottom, so you don't jeopardize any of your wing integrity. But for now, like a lot of kits were built like back in the day, where these center ribs were often cut. So let's go ahead and do these ribs the same way we did these other pieces there, the sheeting. And let's do the same thing here. And we want this to be our tool. So now these ribs are broken. We can turn this off, and you can see that we've kind of sliced the material here. We got a little bit of junk right here. Couple of ways to fix that. Well, probably one of the easiest ways. So let's select our wing here. Well, let's finish the other joiner. Let's go back. All right, so let's turn this joiner on, and we want to mirror this joiner so it hits this other side of this this spar, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a sketch on top of this plane, and the only thing, it's not even going to let me do it because it's not flat. It might let me do it down here. Yes, it will. Okay, and the only thing I want to do here is I just want to create a line so I can have some sort of construction line or some place to mirror this spar or this joiner. So now I'm going to go hit S, which is going to bring up my design shortcuts. You could also go into create and hit mirror, but S is a real quick way to create shortcuts, and you can search for different things in the box here, and you can save them here and here in design. So what I want to do, I want to mirror this body, and my mirror plane, I guess it needs to be a plane. Let's cancel this. Let's create a plane at angle, and I'm going to set it right there, put it at 90 degrees. Now I have a mirror plane. S, we want bodies, and mirror plane is that, and new body, and there we have it. We have our two joiners, and then we're going to repeat the operation of this combining and cutting with everything we did previously on this front joiner. Okay, so do this. We want this to be selected. Click OK, and we want this to be selected, and we want this to be our cutting tool. And did I get the bottom sheet? Nope. All right, so let's repeat. Cut this with this tool, and there we have it. Okay, so there's our wing joiners. Now what we want to do, we'll turn this construction off. We can turn the sketches off, and there's our body. So let's go back up. Let's go back up here, and I'm hoping I don't get this with this, but it's okay if we do. All right, so what I want to do, I want to make our right wing, and our right wing is just going to be the same as the left. So I'm going to hit S, and I'm going to come down here to component, and the component we want is this left wing. Now our mirror plane is going to be right here on our origin. We're going to click OK, and boom. Now we have some overlap with this because of the center pieces were part of the left wing. Let's just rename this to right wing. And this wing joiner mirror, let's just turn that off. In fact, we could probably remove this component here since we have it on the left side. And we have these other little strips in here that were used. And when you mirror this stuff, it turns everything on. So there is our full wing. And yeah, I hope everybody got something out of this one. And next we're going to show how to make the cutout on a fuselage and see if we can't put some landing gear on here and the canopy, a couple of little things. And then after that, I'm going to go into just doing studies for different types of model airplane structures. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a great spring so far, and life is going to bring you a lot of happy times flying. Thank you, guys.